So in this video we will talk about Asmodeus, or Ashmedai, the king of demons and the jinn. He is highly referenced in Talmudic literature, Arabic legends, and all kinds of Middle Eastern lore, and there are a lot of stories about him. Those stories seem to be contradictory. In one story, he is a lustful demon who rapes and kills men who sleep with one female, and then Raphael comes and binds him. This is a story from the book of Tobit. But there are also other stories in which Ashmedai is depicted as really gallant and rational, but powerful and carnal, demonic or jinnic king who is doing his own bidding, partially independent from other infernal hosts. So really, there is a lot of lore about this being, and a lot of that lore seems to be contradicting itself. Now, maybe it has to do with the nature of lust, because lust is on its own extremely rational, yet extremely irrational and animalistic endeavor. And since Ashmedai or Asmodeus is the demon of lust, this makes sense. Now, the only thing I can say with certainty is the magical chant for summoning of Asmodeus or Ashmedai I use, and the magical chant is Hayashmadai Hayajin, Hayashmadai Hayajin, Hayashmadai Hayajin, Hayashmadai 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 Hayajin, Hayashmadai Hayajin, Hayashmadai Hayajin, Hayashmadai 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 Hayajin, Hayashmadai Hayajin, Hayashmadai Hayajin, Hayashmadai, 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 Hayajin. So, I have something to say about this chant. So, as you probably can guess, this chant calls Ashmedai or Asmodeus in his genic aspect. Now, I am not sure is this genic aspect conjured by this chant the same being as Asmodeus the demon of the Clifford, or partially independent aspect of him. I need to investigate, and for that investigation I need more time to pass and more experience with this entity. I will be honest and I will say that I had my fair share of workings with Asmodeus or Ashmedai, but I never went into in-depth working with him. What I noticed is that he is really empowering for the physical body, but he seems to be really cruel. When I say cruel, I mean cruel to the moment and to the point of inflicting large amount of physical pain to me. Now, this doesn't have to be true regarding his character. Maybe this is something to do with my nerves, because my nerves are a little bit sensitive, and when I cool really intense energies, sometimes my body reacts in a weird way without spirit actually intending to hurt me. But Ashmedai or Asmodeus seem to be cruel. In a way, he seems to inflict physically painful trials upon his initiates, and it seems to be a reoccurring theme. Now, sometimes he seems to be extremely gallant and rational and well-mannered, while at other times he seems to be a furious fiend of wrath. Now, I don't know, does this has to do with the aspects of him I am summoning at the time, or he just tends to shift according to his own will and change personalities. People say that he is skilled in teaching arts and sciences, yet I never called him to do art and science. I always called him to inspire either lust, but I am not skilled in love magic, so I used him more as a personal trainer, and I used him more to improve the effects of my physical exercise for the sake of health benefits. Now, there is one experience with Ashmedai I need to talk about, which is his relationship to the winds of plague and his relationship to the chronic illness. Now, he seems to weaken the winds of plague and the energies which create chronic illness, but he seems to weaken them in a really weird way. So when you start working with him, you will start feeling really intense muscle pain if you have the winds of plague in your muscles. If you don't know what the winds of plague are, those are allergic currents which create a chronic illness. So if you start working with him intensely and you have chronic illness, in my experience, he will intensify the painful symptoms of it. But he will really weirdly put the pain to its peak, and then when the pain is at the peak, he will do some shit which will severely weaken your winds of plague and severely weaken your chronic illness. Now, this is extremely risky way to approach this shit, and if you work with Lilith on the currents of the winds of plague, and then you try to work with Ashmedai, it's not really compatible. If you want to work with both of them on the winds of plague current, I will speak about winds of plague current soon in greater detail, but what you need to know is that Ashmedai, in my experience, is really good but also really cruel trainer. He is attributed heavily to Mars, and in my experience his day is Tuesday. So what I also know is that he increases sex drive, but not in a way other spirits do. For me personally, he rather increases sex drive as a vehicle for your motivation, as a vehicle for something which will motivate you heavily to do stuff. It is not necessarily, in my experience, a really fuck for the sake of fucking. It's more like understanding this pool of energy as a tool for motivation. He is heavily associated with sadomasochistic sexual rights. My personal experience dictates that there is that sadomasochistic aspect of him. That's definitely true, but he is much more broad being than that, and I think people tend to focus on edgy stuff in order to be observed as edgy, but sadomasochistic sexual rights are only one of the things Ashmedai teaches. He teaches many more, and I think we shouldn't simplify him to sadomasochistic demonic sex guru, because he is much more than that. He personally tends to push sorcerer through interesting adversities. He will always use your body, in my experience, as a vehicle for your motivation. So other spirits will maybe, for example, create external circumstances, but when Asmodeus does stuff deeply, to me it doesn't has to be the same for others. He always motivates me through physical pain or through violent external situations. He tends to use really carnal physical violence as a tool for motivation of people or really carnal physical pain, and he uses a pain to motivate people. And yeah, you can use chant provided in a video to call him. All of the techniques applicable to contacting other jinns on this channel are applicable to Asmodeus, because in my opinion Asmodeus is both jinn and the Qliphothic demon. I need to investigate how this is the case, because I don't have a lot of information to tell you how he is two spiritual species at once. And on both chants, when you call him as a jinn and when you call him as a demon, the same spirit appears. There isn't even a shift in aspects per se. It's still the same guy. Even energy signature doesn't change. And I definitely need to tap into Asmodeus in future more, because there is so much conflicting lore about this guy, and when I read about him, I am really confused, because there is so much stuff which really conflicts each other. Some people say he is an ascended spirit which inhabits the Sufi shrine and does miracles. Some people say he is a demon. Some people say he is a jinn. Some people say he is extremely wrathful and uncontrollable. Some people say he is extremely intelligent and gallant. Some people say he is limited. Other people say he is just energy. There is so much contradicting stuff about this guy. And only thing I can guarantee you is my personal experience and this magical chant. So I hope this was enough really about Asmodeus. But in order to summarize this video, I will tell the following. Use the chant on the screen. Call him on a Thursday night. Not Thursday, but Tuesday, sorry. Call him on a Tuesday night. Use red candles on his sigil. Anoint the sigil with blood. He likes blood. And before ritual, offer the energy of your physical exercise to him. And also do it during and after the ritual. And actually, since he is present, I will, after I finish filming this and editing this, offer the energy of my physical exercise to Jinnic and Demonic King Asmodeus, or Asmodeus, depending on what pronunciation you like more. Now, there is also another thing I want to talk about, and this is connection to Asmodeus. Okay, a lot of people think that Asmodeus and Asmodeus from Zoroastrian, aka Ahrimanic sorcery, Ahrimanic black magic, are the same being. I have to disagree. They are related etymologically and ontologically to one another, but they are not related. They are not the same guy. They are not the same spirits. I experienced Asmodeus from Ahrimanic sorcery and Asmodeus from the Qliphot, or Asmodeus as a jinn, to be separate beings. I am not sure, is Jinnic aspect of Asmodeus partially independent, or is it the same guy as Qliphothic Asmodeus? I need to investigate it more. But for Asmodeus, I am definitely 100% sure that Asmodeus, from my personal experience, is not the same as Asmodeus. They belong to the separate energy currents, and they wield the separate currents of power. So thank you for watching, guys, and see you next time. This was a little bit longer video, but since Asmodeus was the most voted spirit yesterday, I decided to film this. And also, when you vote for the video, please look at the comments because if you just vote for one spirit and nobody else votes for that spirit, then you just waste comments. So when you wanna vote, look which spirits are popular in the comment section and then vote from those, because it's not good for you to lose your votes over nothing. So thank you for watching, guys, and yeah, I like making those requested videos.